welcome to this edition of Realm Talks 2. In this episode, I'm joined by Heather Roberts, Contentious Probate and Professional Negligence Partner at Bexley Beaumont. Hi Heather.
Hello, how are you?
Not bad, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. You joined Bexley Beaumont as a partner last year from a national full-service firm. What was it that appealed to you about Bexley Beaumont, and how does working at a legal boutique compare to working at a much larger outfit?
I think what appealed to me initially was the ability or the idea that I would be able to take control of my own career and my clients and model it very much the way that I wanted to work. There was no prescribed way of working.
Yeah.
With all the sort of the unavoidable hierarchy and red tape and things like that you often get at the larger firms, the rules and things, everyone has to follow, and procedures, and there was none of that. There's none of that sort of requirement. That just meant you've just got more freedom and flexibility. You're encouraged to run your own caseload and manage your clients how you want to. You've got the freedom to spend more quality time giving your clients that personal touch from the partner who's running their case, instead of being passed through different paralegals and junior solicitors and passed around from pillar to post. From day one, clients get me, they get my mobile number, they know they can speak to me whenever they want to, and they've got the ability to do that. And that wasn't something you could do in a larger practice, usually because of the volume of work you were dealing with or whatever. And I think that the firm is also it's different to some of the other fee share models, because I think despite that, there's still this team culture, this working collaboratively amongst the partners that we have, and this support with each other. It's not an every man for themselves kind of place. Everyone is really supportive. Everyone will drop hands and help and discuss things and advise each other and help, and there is that support there still, so you don't feel like you're just left out alone and you're doing it all yourself. You have still got that team culture, and that's something that was a big draw for me, and I think a big difference compared to some of the other models similar to this that are around. I think the freedom and flexibility to work where and when I want and how I want to was another big thing for me. I've got a young child at home, to be able to do the school runs with her still either side of this, and go to sports day and do all these little things that I don't have to go and approve with someone, don't have to check with someone. I've got that ability to make that decision. As long as I'm managing my clients and they're happy and their needs are being met, I can do all of these things now and, be the great mum and the great lawyer at the same time, which is the dream. So hopefully, yeah. But yeah, that's about it really.
It sounds ideal, to be honest. Like you said, best of both. At Bexley Beaumont, you have autonomy over how and where you work. How does this help you deliver an excellent service for your clients?
I think, as I touched on before, clients have instant access to me now. They didn't when we were at when I was at previous firms. So to be able to just get hold of me on my mobile, email, Teams calls, whatever that may be now, I have fewer clients than I did previously, because you have more time to spend just spending that time with them, instead of having to delegate work to other people because you're so busy and doing other things in a firm, all the other sort of management roles and supervision roles and things like that you used to have to do, that would take 4 or 5 hours out of your day sometimes. I don't have to do any of that now, so I can spend that time with clients. I work less hours now than I did before, a lot less, and yet feel like I'm giving a much better service to clients and have that work-life balance as well. So it works really well.
Sounds perfect. Why did you decide that contentious probate and professional negligence were the practice areas for you?
Oh, this was something I decided, I was still on my training contracts at the time. That is over 18 years ago now, I want to guess. I just love the individual nature of each case. I was never the lawyer who wanted to do conveyancing or something that was really transactional and samey. I would have got bored of that very, very quickly. Fair play to those that do it. But I like the interesting aspect of each of it. I always call it the Jeremy Kyle aspect. It used to be the Trisha aspect back in the day when I first that shows how old I am. But it's that aspect of each case. There's always some family drama or a DNA test or something really interesting coming up. no two cases are the same. Everything's different, and I never stop learning. Even now, I will have new scenarios and new legal strange situations that require me to go and research it or learn something, and I like that. I like that I'm still learning and being tested, and coming up with sort of good ways to try and resolve things for people. And it's a very complex area of law, and it's an area that people do need help with, because there's so many areas of law that come into it, and it's the pitfalls for people who don't have representation can sometimes be quite difficult, and it's hard for lay people who aren't experienced to navigate through it. So I like that aspect of being able to help people through it. So that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's certainly attracting a lot of attention at the moment from like articles that we see in the papers a lot, isn't it? So yeah, I can see why it's an interesting area to get into.
The Daily Mail love a contentious process.
What advice would you give to an aspiring contentious probate lawyer?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think learn from your seniors, learn from the people you're working with, training with, and try to, if you can, place yourself working with people who are experienced in this area. I think there are a lot of lawyers who sort of dabble in it and do bits and pieces, but there are some great lawyers out there that specialise in this, and this is all they've ever done. And you can tell the difference, and there's so much to learn from them. Throw yourself into it, get involved in the cases, and be prepared to do that legwork and that training and build your expertise. But yeah, that's probably the best bit of knowledge.
No, that'd be really helpful to a lot of people, I'm sure. What's been the proudest moment of your career so far?
I always go back to this case, and it's quite a few years ago now, and it was a case. I was acting for a young man who he had Down syndrome, so he was in his 30s, but his mental age was around 10 years old. Really lovely guy, and he was bringing a claim against his stepdad's estate, and we ended up getting a really good settlement for him, and the settlement had to be approved by the court because he didn't have capacity. And he just gave me this biggest hug that honestly nearly made me burst into tears in court, and still makes me tear up to this day. And It was just that moment that I still think back to now. That's why I love doing this job in this particular area of this job, because people like that can't help themselves and have to be helped through this process. And to put right a wrong where he's not got something he should have got that he needs to support himself, so yeah, that's probably still my proudest moment. It's a few years ago now, but yeah, it was lovely.
I'm not surprised though. It sounds like, because it's the reward, isn't it, of making a massive difference for somebody. And like you said, when you're personable and you want to help people, that's kind of what the aim is, isn't it?
It is, and I've sort of said to other people before, a lot of this job, and I think it's probably similar for family lawyers, is 50% of the job is just being a therapist to your client, being that shoulder to cry on, that, the voice of reason, someone who's helping them through what's a pretty horrific time in their life usually, and trying to help them through this moment. So, but I quite like that side of it as well.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. And my last question would be, is there anything else you'd like to achieve?
Not really. I think to strive being able to sort of still work on interesting, complex cases, delivering the best service I can for clients, getting those moments where you get the hug at court, that to keep doing that is all I'm happy doing, and earning enough to get my own horse in a few years, hopefully. So
lovely.
That's the wish list, from the end goal wish list. It is. But yeah, I think that's I love doing this job, and I think this way of working now for me is something that I can only see now working the way I do in the model that we do at Bexley Beaumont. And I wouldn't change it for a minute now. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Thanks so much for talking to me today.
No problem.
Thanks.
Thank you.